So I just came up with this pretty weird understanding of codependency and how children become, how they're taught to be codependent, and how codependency is this self-fulfilling, this self-cannibalizing lie that you at one point perpetuate, right? And hear me out. So in a dysfunctional household, in a childhood that is dysfunctional or abusive, toxic, chaotic, whatever you want to call it, right? There is a lot of gaslighting. There is a lot of shame, or, if you try to speak up, you're put down because you're stirring the pot, you're bringing things out into the open when you should be sweeping things under the rug, not causing waves, keeping the peace, even if it means covering up for someone's alcoholism, lying to people, pretending like nothing is wrong. So growing up in situations that are very chaotic and dysfunctional, we learn that that's normal. We learn how to adapt into that dysfunctional lifestyle to survive. So if we have to be hypervigilant, walk on eggshells, know what to say, when to say it to who and how, that is a coping mechanism that follows us into adulthood, right? And for example, with me, I was always told, never to say anything about your father's addiction. Like, your father doesn't have a problem, he's just sick, people aren't going to understand. And it really made me think and believe, especially as an adult, that other people's problems are way bigger than my own, that I need to be the bigger person and handle other people's problems and be the one who figures out how to handle the other person's life and help them from dealing with their consequences. And another thing that I learned was that nobody ever wants to hear what I have to say. I have nothing interesting to say. I just ramble. I talk on and on. I talk in circles. I have no good ideas. And it really made me, in my adulthood, believe in any social situation, no matter what the topic was that people did not want to hear from me. Even if they asked me specifically what my opinion was, I would just tell them what I thought that they wanted to hear in order to get them away from me and to stop looking at me as, don't talk to me, why are you talking to me? Like, I have nothing good to say. I have nothing useful to say, right? And another point that I realized I learned was that no matter what I think I look like, no matter what I see in the mirror or anything, is that people aren't going to want to deal with me unless I look perfect and beautiful, and I never do. Therefore, I always have to worry about how I look. Even if I think that I look good, no, the mirror's lying, your perception's wrong, blah, 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 right? And when you're growing up in a very dysfunctional or chaotic or abusive household or situation, you are meant to pretend like nothing is wrong. Nobody talks about it. Nobody names what is happening. You can't, go to your mom or dad and say, hey, like, what happened wasn't cool. Can we talk about it? Like, what was that? To pretend like nothing happened is a very, very dysfunctional thing, and it's a tool to isolate you, and it's a tool to make sure that the dysfunction keeps going on because it won't get interrupted. There won't be any new thought that interjects. There won't be any moments of saying, hey, this isn't aligning, this isn't making sense, and we need to, as a family, come together and discuss this openly and honestly. There is none of that. So when you're in a dysfunctional situation that is constantly beating you down, putting negative thoughts in your head, isolating you from any sources of different thoughts, right? You're going to be in a really messed up equation to grow up and be an adult who is dysfunctional. You are continuing these dysfunctional patterns because it's all you knew. It's what you were raised to do. It's what you believe intrinsically, right? And the best way to really snap out of it, or to break or start to break these generational curses, is to really just do nothing. Do nothing. Don't try to explain anything to anyone. Don't try to make yourself look a certain type of way, spending hours in front of the mirror. Don't try to, feed yourself the same narrative. If anything, just don't do anything. Don't think anything, and trust that the situation that you're now in, if you've been working on being healthy and, going no contact with dysfunctional, toxic people and really trying to change, and notice these patterns, people will tell you. If I really had nothing good to say, if I was just dumb as a doornail and have no good thoughts, I would hear that at least once from anyone on the planet other than the microcosm of the fuckery that is my bloodline. I would hear it outward. People would say something. If I really, had nothing at all to say that was important or interesting, it would be, people would say something. My reality would match that thought frame. Another thing is that I always, growing up and even as an adult, I always have this fear that I'm going to get in trouble. No matter what I'm doing, I have to hide it, because if anyone sees what I'm doing, they're going to scold me and put me in timeout. And I'm always wrong. I always need to hide what I'm doing. And as an adult, I have to really put myself in a position and be like, if that was true, my boss would say something. If I was really doing nothing correctly, I would hear it. My life would align with that. And so sometimes you don't have to over-explain, overcompensate. Oh, just worry. Sometimes just, hey, let it be. I'm not going to do anything about it. And trust that if I'm really doing something so egregious, so terrible, that my boyfriend who loves me to death, he would step in and be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. Or if I was, fucking up so badly at work, literally any which person would tell me, and like they wouldn't give me a promotion and a raise and a bonus like they did, And that's one of the things about growing up in a really dysfunctional, chaotic household, is that it completely twists and skews what you can believe reality is. We get isolated, and then we start perpetuating these negative thoughts, these negative patterns. And the best way to break free is literally just if it's going to fall apart, let it fall apart. If you're really a terrible person, you know what? Then be a terrible person. Take up space. Ask for more ketchup. Be that terrible person. And just trust that the people around you would be like, how dare you ask for more ketchup? You just ruined that waitress's life. Like, I can't be your friend anymore. And if that's really a conversation that you're going to have based on asking for more ketchup, that's not really a friend that you want around. So maybe just part of the generational curses, part of a way to break that, is to not even worry about breaking it. Just worry about yourself. You're always not worrying about yourself.